It didn't. Hi everyone.
Hi.
We're live here at the Denmark Chamber of Commerce. I'm joined with my mate Mark from Business Great Southern.
Hi.
And we're talking social media, and we're hoping that some of you might join us today and ask us some questions.
Because it's going to be really weird if we're just sitting here silent, waiting for questions, right?
Well, I'm sure that we can figure out something to talk about in regards to social media whilst we wait for our people to arrive. What's your favorite social media?
Mine, I'm an Instagram fan.
Like for personal use?
Yeah, for personal use. And I'll tell you for why. It's that I don't have to worry about typing or reading. I can just look at the pictures and it's great for me. Because the glasses are only for reading, and most of the time I'm sitting at home and I can't be honest with them. So what about you? What's yours?
Oh, I don't really like any of it, but don't tell anyone.
Shh.
I know.
You like LinkedIn. Snapchat.
No, I honestly, like in regards to personal use, I would much rather just get rid of all of it. But I do like Facebook Messenger.
Oh yeah, Messenger.
Just because I can link in and be with my friends. Hi, those who have joined us. Do you have any questions for us? We're here. This is Mark. I'm Summer. I'm sure you know us by now. But we're here to talk about social media and your business. So if you have any questions, just type them up, and I think we'll be able to see them. We are trialing this.
Yeah, we are. This is on the phone this time instead of on the computer. So.
It is. It's on the phone. So we were just talking about, the most, popular ones that we like the best. Yeah.
So you didn't answer the question. Messenger. That's
Yeah.
Come on.
I think in regards to business, I find that I get a lot of traction off of Facebook, but that's mostly just from building that clientele relationship. At the chamber, we use Facebook quite a bit in order to communicate, and it seems like we can have quite a bit of engagement, especially on the community notice board and those sorts of things, the shares. And I think it's just because we generally deal with information that comes to us and then we share it instead of being active and but in saying that, when we move into like Discover Denmark or the tourism stuff, then we tend to move towards Instagram, which is those pictures, those shots, and those images.
Yeah,
so
I think that's really important that you, as you identified there, is that it's a completely different thing that you're doing. So you're using a different social media for that different content, the different end user.
Yeah.
So, and that's really important. I guess that's why I like Instagram.
Yeah.
It's because for me it is instant.
Yeah.
Even though people take photos of way too much of their dinner, which drives me out the wall. But
well, if you need to know what's for dinner, it might be a good thing. Or
great.
where to go when you're traveling to, Dunsborough.
Yeah, but then again, this is another good point, is that people tend to take a photo of their dinner and just leave it at that, and you're like, where are you? What are you eating? What are you doing? Or just give me some information. So very valid point to the world out there is that if you're posting stuff, anything, and I'm going to use the dinner as the prime example, make sure you don't engage with your clients by just saying, here's dinner. Just say, oh, and I'm having a great dinner from this place. It makes it a bit more interesting, a bit more personal, and then you get more recommendations, and then people kind of engage with you a bit more.
And I think the biggest thing is like, what the heck is a hashtag and how can we start using it? Because I've found that there's hashtags on Facebook now, which is actually pretty exciting. And I don't know if any of you are aware, but we've started a new hashtag or trying to get some momentum on a events hashtag. So Denmark WA events. So is a hashtag that you can go to on Facebook and Instagram to find out events that are happening in Denmark, and we're trying to get everybody to label that. So let's talk hashtags for a minute.
Hashtags.
Yeah. What's the simplest way to explain what the heck is a hashtag?
Okay, hashtag is like a menu. So if somebody's looking at a menu there, hi Brian, hi. Yeah, saw you the other day. Hi, I said we'd say hi. So if somebody's looking on, and I'm going to use Instagram because Insta really started the hashtag and built it. If somebody's just going to look for, I don't know, cakes, for example, they'll just look at in the search bar cakes, and it'll come up with the top hashtag. So then you can be in amongst that.
And that's in Instagram.
That's in Instagram.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same with Facebook. It's pretty much the same with Twitter as well. It's just a search thing. Somebody said that's the same with Facebook. People post a lot of photos on there. Yeah, you're right. They do, Brian. People post a lot of photos on Facebook. Facebook. The difference between the whole Instagram and Facebook, a lot of people get confused with.
Yeah.
Do you find that as well?
Well, I find, again, just to reiterate, I find that Facebook is kind of that, like, we did this awesome stuff, look at what we did. And Instagram is like, look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, so Instagram to me seems like this is what is happening right now. And Facebook is kind of like that recap on this is what we did. Here's this awesome thing that we did like 3 hours ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can do both on Facebook, but you know, Instagram, I'm finding that it's like once
it's done, it's gone.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Instagram, and most of the time it's with a story. So the difference between a post and a story, obviously on Instagram, is that a story just hangs around for 24 hours. A post is there indefinitely, like a Facebook post. But you're right, it's an instant thing, hence Instagram, right?
Yeah.
It's instant, great. Yeah. See,
Well,
it's clever,
what's the advantage of doing a story versus a post? Like, why would you do that for a business?
A story allows people to see something in a snapshot, and you're not wading through a whole list of things.
Okay.
And you can interact a lot better. So you can post videos are really good on stories, so you can actually talk. So if you're a business out there, I'm sorry to say this, but you need to put your face out there. It's the best way to connect with your customers, any potential clients. You need to be that face. And it can be really scary, and you're going to do story. This is where a story is good, right? Because it's only up for 24 hours and it disappears. But it allows you to practice, and you get better and better at it. So
this is why, you know, we've been doing these videos, I think, well, for a while now. But I try to keep them as free and as practice as possible. But we're getting an amazing engagement rate from just putting our face out there. And this isn't the most comfortable thing that we do, you know, but it's always fun to just experiment, put it out there. And, you know, people generally don't know unless you tell them, like, this is awkward. Gosh, this video thing really is weird.
I saw
we just pretend that it's not. And then you get the idea that it isn't either. So, you know, like, we're trialing this for the first time ever, and who knows how it's going to be? It's a big risk, but you know, we're giving it a go.
Yeah, what's the cost of this?
Yeah,
nothing, right? So, and I read a thing the other day on posts and videos which are on all sorts of social media, and it's now the trend to have ones which aren't professional, which don't look professional. They look like they are like this. So,
oh, thanks. This doesn't look professional. Thanks, Mark.
You know what I mean? It's not like professionally filtered and all that, all the sort of jargon. So it looks like it's been filmed and edited 50 million times. Yeah. It's actually more important now to have a video which looks like this because it's honest.
Yes.
And that's what we want to do.
And I think, you know, there's all different ways that you can take videos. We have awesome capabilities just on our phone. We don't even need equipment for it. Like Mark and I said, we're on my mobile right now. I'm still able to engage and see everything. And the video quality is a lot better than the computer that we used last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever.
That was outstanding. It looked like we were in like some 1960s movie with the Vaseline around the lens.
Yes. I mean, as long as you have mobile reception, you'll be able to post a video. So say that, you know, you're building a house, or, you know, you're a builder and you want to just take a quick video of the guys working, or you want to show the house in slow motion or whatever. I mean, that sort of stuff you can just quickly put on like a Instagram story or a Facebook Live or a Facebook story, and it's really simple. And then you post it right there, and you're working at the same time you're actually engaging with your customers.
And there's nothing funnier as well than using an app. So you can use like Boomerang, and so if nobody knows Boomerang, you can kind of rewind things and play them forward quicker. So if you're on a construction site and the guy's got a hammer, just smashing or putting something up, and then all of a sudden he's in rewind, so he's just putting up and down. It looks like he's working, doing the same thing over, and everybody laughs.
Yeah.
You just can't help it. And then you get more engagement.
Yeah, I find humor, especially in this day and age, is a great sell, and being lighthearted and really genuine, I think, is really important as well.
Yeah, there's that fine line.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't get other people's humor, so normally mine. I've got a rather dry sense of humor, which people tend not to get. So you've got to make it to the masses, and if people do criticize you for what you're saying, then just don't even go back to them. Just let it run off you and learn it from the next time. That's all you've got to do.
Yeah, cool. What other?
Well, I had a whole heap of stats and all that sort of stuff for people who using different stuff, and there's some stuff we ran through last time about the biggest apps and what to use and why to use them and that sort of stuff.
Oh, well, WhatsApp, that's really interesting. I don't know if many of you know about WhatsApp, but we actually just started using WhatsApp at the Chamber.
Really?
And the way that we use it is as a communication tool between our team. So I think, you know, it's worth mentioning and just chatting about this for a moment, because if you need like a good team management or team communication, if you have a large team or you're not all located in the same building, I think WhatsApp is a really great way. Or if you need shifts covered, or, you know, you're scheduling, WhatsApp is a really great thing. So explain WhatsApp.
It's to me, WhatsApp is a free. The way I always see it is a free messaging service.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. So it's like an SMS. So you can make calls on it, absolutely. But in Australia, WhatsApp isn't very big at all. It's huge in the US and through Asia and through the subcontinent. It's absolutely massive there, because internet is so much cheaper than phone calls over there, whereas we're kind of about the same. But you're right, WhatsApp itself, you just set up a group, and it's the group of everybody who's on there. You can all go on there and make your own comments and feedback and all that sort of stuff, but it's instant communications as well. So you're right. If you've got people in different locations, you can hit one message, everybody gets the message, no message.
And then you can also private message people as well, which I think is really lovely. So if you need to call somebody out, or you need to, you know, so you can phone or you can message directly there. So it's kind of, think of it as like, if you're familiar with Facebook Messenger, it's kind of like that, but it's not Facebook. It's a different app. So if you have staff members, or if you have people that you need to communicate in the group that aren't on Facebook, it's a really good app to download and to have.
And there's no excuses either with WhatsApp that, I haven't got range and I haven't got coverage, because it's internet. So as soon as you tap into a Wi-Fi signal, it brings everything through.
Yeah, cool. Jenny has an awesome question here. Can you tell me what the key difference is in the target audiences on Facebook and Instagram? I know.
That's a good question.
It's a really good question.
That's a noodle scratcher.
Well, I mean,
You're gone.
Yeah, I mean, the big one that I find is the difference in age.
Age. Although some new stats are coming out now.
Really? Tell us.
So some stats are coming out now that Instagram is hitting more 35 plus now.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're learning how to do it. Look at that.
Yeah, and I think that's the age of the people who were using it before is showing their parents. Yes. And now the parents are getting on board with it, and like me, don't like to look at Facebook without the glasses on, so it's nice and easy to do Instagram. But really the demographic, you're right, the demographic is normally younger generation, early 20s to, and I would have said before 35, 40, but now it's coming out that it's starting to switch to more of a 35 to 45, 50 generation as well, which is fantastic, because now you can hit more clients. For sex though, women tend to use social media in general a lot more than men. Yeah. And that's because it's that whole link in communication. So your target audience between Facebook would be, as you said before, this is what we've done. It's also, Facebook's really good for business to say, hey, here's a promotion that I'm doing, more of an advert, like the old school in the paper adverts. It's Facebook, and Instagram is that, hey, it's now, we're live, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best way to target your audiences as well with that.
Yeah. Or look at this amazing dress that we have to offer here, or, you know, displaying products. I reckon is probably Instagram is, if you just wanted to shoot your products.
Yeah.
It's probably a great way to sell.
Yeah, and to market the product as well on between the two. So Instagram, you've got to be very catchy. So I always recommend using Canva to do your photos and mess about with those and with your posts, because it will be to the right size. You want to make sure that your post is the right size as well, because there's nothing worse than things bleeding over each side. And just so it's punchy at the same time. So it's kind of the tagline of an advert. So if we use the Golden Arches place, the clown. The clown, yeah. So you'd have the clown face, and everybody would know exactly who that is.
Yeah, exactly.
But that would be an Instagram thing. For Facebook, you'd use the Golden Arches, the wording, the clown face, and this, and because it really engages with people for a lot longer period of time.
I guess that's maybe why then I would be hesitant, and correct me if I'm wrong, you'd really want to have some strong branding around Instagram more so. You can have a little bit more leeway, I reckon, with Facebook. Unless you're using hashtags effectively, would you say?
Yeah, you're right. But I think that comes down to any business should have a strong brand kit. And if you don't have a strong brand kit, you're going to get lost in the wash. And also, then if anybody's coming to your page, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, you're going to get lost completely, because they're going to look at one post, scroll through, and just go over things. If you've got a strong brand, people tend to generate and look at everything.
Yeah, that kind of makes me think, because we haven't had another question yet, and so we'll just keep on rattling on. That makes me think about all of the things that happen outside of social media in order to actually be effective for social media, whatever app that you're using. You know, you mentioned Canva, so canva.com.
Thanks.
Nice. Thanks, Jenny. Perfect. You mentioned Canva.com, and Canva.com is a really good support for that digital design, so the copy. So when you're creating like a poster or you're creating a post, Canva is a great resource, and it's really user friendly.
It's so easy
and
to
it's
use.
Free. You can use it for a long time for free.
And then you upgrade to the pro version, and you can get so much more out of it.
And if you're a non-for-profit, you can actually get the pro version for free. So keep that in mind as well. We found that out the other day, which is fantastic.
We've been on there for ages.
It's so good. Yeah, you tick the box and you send in your incorporation certificate, and they give it to you for free. So it's a fantastic company, really great.
Yeah, it's really handy, and the templates are great as well on there. If you have a look at some of the posts that the Albany Business Centre has done, or Business Great Southern, you'll see that there's a lot of templates used, and you just manipulate those. Now, our branding isn't very good at the moment. I'm going to call it straight. So anybody who looks at the Albany Business Centre Instagram page or Facebook page, you'll see it's all over the place. But that's because we're about to go through a new branding, and we're going to hold it, and then it will be all accountable by that branding. At the moment, we're just kind of putting stuff out. Hey, here's some information. So we're doing the wrong thing.
What's the wrong thing?
Well, we're doing the wrong thing by not following our brand. But we don't necessarily have a brand.
Sometimes I did have a startup business come in today and asked, we've got clients, we've got the building, we don't quite we have the name of the business, and I was like, well, get in there and, get it going and then work on the brand. Even if it's just a color or a simple text that you're using that's just consistent. I think what's really important about a brand is that it's consistent. Brands like yours need, a little bit more guidance because you're really out there.
Ours is so hard. Well, ours is really hard.
Yeah.
Because how do you brand a business related product, like, and we are essentially a business product.
Yeah.
It's really different, and the same for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the Wren.
We're lucky,
So you're lucky
yeah.
with that. We don't have that.
Yeah.
So everything that you have can relate to and around the Wren and the blue and
Well,
the text.
exactly.
Yeah,
so
right,
it's the text that we've chosen that's consistent. We've got a symbol, and we also have coloring.
Yeah.
So I think that those are really strong things when you're looking to develop a brand. Your brand, then you can look at those things. You look at the text that you're using. You want it to be a text that you like.
Yeah.
The colors are consistent, and you can find out those colors, the colors that you use in Canva. It's really simple. You just click that color thing, and they're hex numbers, or there's other color codes that you can go by.
Yeah, and there's people online as well who can do all that for you. I think it's for like $30 or $40. There's people in the US who are just doing this for you, and they'll come up with some ideas. And if you're a new business.
And I think, once you have your branding, I feel like the next step, when you go in to do social media or start up a campaign or multiple campaigns, the next thing is to look at your calendar and just have a look. Like, is there a holiday coming up? Is there a sale that you want to start to promote? Do you have a landmark time in your business that then you need to work backwards from in order to produce a nice solid campaign? Then you can follow that up. So that helps to create your copy in your posts, like what words that you're going to use, what images that you're going to use. And then you can work yourself backwards from that.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what we like to do here as well. Like, we're getting ready in May to do a membership drive, because we'll be doing that for the new calendar year. And or for the new year, and so now we have to start thinking about that, and then start to promote. Then we'll start to create our messaging in line with that.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess that you're going to do different types of engagement for the different social medias.
Yeah,
because you've got to, right? Because as Jenny was alluding to before, was that what does what. So that's what you need to know. You need to know, though, the target market that you're going after. And as soon as you know that market, then you know which social media to go with.
Yeah.
So if you want, for example, women 26 to be able to come to your shop or to be able to buy your product, you go to Instagram. That's your first place and port of call you go to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's what it's shown. And you can Google it, right? You can Google the age of the person, the sex of the person that you're after. So just think of your ideal client. And that's the person you want in there all the time, because they're going to talk about it, they're going to use this, they're going to buy more, whatever it might be. Google that, and it will tell you what social media you should use.
Yeah.
And stick to that.
Yeah. Brian wrote us a note here.
What's he saying?
I noticed a lot of people who run a gardening service put their photos of lawns they've mowed that day up on Facebook for their clients to see. They're really nice work that they've done. So that's perfect.
That's absolutely paramount as well. So you want to sell something, but at the same time, you want to show the work or the products that you've sold or you've done as well, because it builds a story and it builds confidence in your brand at the same time. So it doesn't matter which social media you're using, you have to do that.
Yeah. And I think it's all about.
We were talking about wine and cheese before.
Yeah, I know. No, there's no food in front of us, unfortunately. I've got the carrot out, in front, but it's the different types of posts for Facebook, the different types of posts that that's a good thing to hit upon, I reckon.
Now boosting posts.
Let's talk about the different types though first, because you don't always want to sell your product. You don't always want to just constantly do the same post. Well, we've got this for sale, this for sale, this for sale. And I think what Mark had said, which was really great, is just about telling a story. So sometimes it's informative about your product. You want to educate people. Sometimes it's about, we have this for sale and this is how you link to our services.
You know what, it's kind of like real life. So I have meetings all the time, and it can be really crazy, and you've always got to go in with something to talk about. But sometimes, just sometimes, you want to go in and just go, hi. hi, it's me,
Yeah.
and then you walk out the door.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same with social media.
Yeah.
It's sometimes you just want to say hi and keep people engaged, going, oh yeah, they're there. You don't have to be trying to sell something
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, it's better if you don't try and sell something all the time.
Yeah.
Anybody who's following mine on Instagram, the Albany Business Centre, you'll see that stories keep popping up of what day it is. And that's just an engagement thing. And I've actually had questions, why do you keep posting like it's International Seal Day and whatever else day it is?
But you just saw it.
Yeah, you just saw it. And the reason I'm doing it is because I'm getting engagement from you. Plus, if somebody says, why do you do that? Because at the Albany Business Centre or Business Great Southern, we give advice and information. Hey, guess what? I've just given you some information.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah.
So it's a bit of
there you go.
Boosting posts.
Brian's keeping us in line
You
here.
really is today.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
Boosting posts. It's essentially a paid way for the social media to boost your post onto other people's Facebook pages or onto their timelines.
I think it's a really good way if you want to target audiences directly. Yeah. So what we use, and what's the suggested amount? Because I know, there's talk about, what if I put, if I put $50 into a boost one day, then Facebook is going to expect me to do that every time, and in order to get the amount of engagement rates.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do, because Facebook are like that, and they run these algorithms which do that. So
I tend to do like $10 to $20 boosts.
Max.
Yeah.
Max.
$10 max. And what you can do then, Brian, is you can go in and then you can check the demographic. You can target the people who are interested in fishing and hiking and electronics or whatever it is that you're trying to sell. You can target the region that you want to push it into. So say you wanted to do a promotion up in Broome because you had heard that a bunch of people are coming down here from Broome, and so that
works really well. Yeah. That does work really well. I was looking at boosting posts the other day. I tend not to boost posts too much.
Yeah.
If you do boost them, don't just pay for it every single time and try and boost a post just for the hell of it. Make sure it's worthwhile. Make sure it's really engaging. I found a cheat on Instagram the other day, which might help some people. So you go to boost your post as if you were going to normally on Insta. So you tick the boost page, and then you get all this information which you have to completely tick out and tick who you want to do your demographic for and all that sort of stuff. And when you get to the last page, you can untick the boost. There's a flaw in there at the moment, and I'm sure they're going to get on it. But
it's like they are now.
Yeah. So
because they're obviously watching this.
Well, that's right. So you can undo the boost.
Okay.
And then do your normal post, and all of a sudden it just goes out with all these hashtags and hitting these pages without having to pay for a boost.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think with boosting as well, and correct me again if I'm wrong, because sometimes it moves so fast, and I know that you guys are on top of the new stuff. But if you have a post, if say you have an event, right, and you want to boost it out, that's one thing.
The night markets?
Yeah.
I'd have boosted the hell out of that.
I didn't.
You didn't? You didn't have to?
No.
That was lucky.
I was trying to, and
like?
For some reason it wasn't boosting. But if you, say we just did Are You Building a House in Denmark post. That post organically, so just on its own without a boost, had over 1,000 clicks, 1,000 engages. So you can also look at the posts that are popular, and then you can take those, like ones that already get high organic reach, and those are suggested to boost as well, or to repost and then boost too. So, those ones that are getting a really good organic reach, say that you just smashed one and you're just like, oh yeah, this one's doing good.
And I think the key
it's
to that
good to boost those.
Yeah, the key to that is use the insights which are there.
Yes.
So there's a tool which is in Facebook, Instagram, it's called Insights. And you have a look at that, and it will tell you what your reach has been. It will tell you how many people have liked it, and it will rank them as well for you. Yeah. It's phenomenal because you know then what hashtags are working for you and where you're getting the most engagement. So make sure you use that hashtag.
Yeah.
Or make sure you post similar content, and you'll get more engagement again through that. Now, I was asked on the flip of that, without using Insights, somebody asked me the other day, how do I get more followers?
Yeah, okay.
Right, so because that's a huge thing.
Because I heard a thing that it didn't really matter if you had followers or likes.
To me, it doesn't really matter because it's about the engagement. Yeah, you want as many followers as possible because then you've got more engagement and a wider net.
Yeah.
But really, you're right, it doesn't matter that much. So to get more followers, right, you can't. You can't just go out there and go, follow me, follow me, follow me. But there is a couple of little tricks you can do which makes you for a mind first. And that is, if you're following somebody, see how many likes they're getting. See how much engagement they're getting. And if they're getting a lot, see who's actually following them and if they're worthwhile. Now it takes a little bit of work from you, but if I was to follow somebody in Denmark, for example...
Like the Chamber?
Well, I wasn't going to say the Chamber first. I was going to say like the podiatry place across the road, right?
Yep.
So if I was following them, that was great, and I wanted to do my service, and I go, okay, so the podiatrist posted that. Who's commented a lot? And then all of a sudden the Chamber comes up, and it's the Chamber, liking stuff. I'm going to again go onto the Chamber and like them. Because if I start following them, chances are they'll follow me back. And if they're following me back, I can then comment about, thanks Chamber of Commerce, that's fantastic. And it appears on your feed. More people. So you've got many more followers than the podiatry place would have, for example. So now all of a sudden I'm attacking your people. So it's a rather clever little way to get more exposure, but then you start to get more likes as well as people start to follow. Takes a bit of work though.
Yeah. That and like joining in private groups as well. Sometimes like if you're a private consultant or something along those lines, joining in on those private groups and then actually getting engaged in the conversation a lot of the time. It can say, oh, well, this person seems to know what they're doing. Like, what are they up to? Or what is their service that they're providing? Even if you're just like dropping a line every once in a while.
And again, it's that connecting piece. So as we said, I'd like you, hopefully you'd follow me, but it's worth then commenting on the post which you had made on the podiatry place, going, oh, that's a really good idea, I like the way you're thinking. And then you could private message them, or DM now. It's not PM, it's DM. So.
Oh, jeez. What is DM stand for?
Direct messaging.
Ah, yes, because private messaging, that sounded weird.
Yeah, it does sound weird. Sounds like
Jenny asked, do you have to post every day?
No. Is the answer, is the short answer? Yes, is the better answer. So,
but
it's about content.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be on Facebook every day or Instagram every day. So when posting every day is one thing, but do you have to work on it every day and have somebody on staff every day in order to do it? No.
You can schedule it.
Well, you can schedule it. You could sit down once a week and actually hash out all of your content and do all of your things, and then schedule it. So both of those.
That works.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you post. I'm going to say there's so many rules out there, when people are saying, well, you have to post 10 times a week on Instagram and 50 times a week on Facebook and 30 times. Nobody's got time for that. Nobody is doing it, and then you start to really annoy people as well. My rule of thumb is post between 5 and 7 times a week. Now that doesn't matter if it's a story, whether it's an actual post itself, whether you tweet something, just do between 5 and 7. More importantly though, it comes down to content. If you haven't got something intelligent to say, or something which isn't related to your brand or doesn't look like your brand, don't post. There's nothing worse than somebody going, hey, look at me, one day and I look like this, and then the next day I've got like a clown nose on, going, hey, look at me, and people are like, what the hell? And then you're there and you've got this big wig on and a really bad moustache attached, and we're going, hey, it just doesn't work. It's got to be consistent, it's got to be aimed at your target market, but post as often as you can realistically without trying to annoy people. So there's people who I follow on Instagram, and they're posting every day, and there's like 6 or 7 posts, and there's like 20 stories, and I just switch them off because it's just too much. But you do want to make sure that you're constantly popping up. So my advice would be schedule or have a look at your insights or when people are looking at your posts, because it'll tell you that, and schedule things for that sort of time, maybe an hour before, hour afterwards, because you can do that by time. But just post 2-3 times a week with good content. It'll keep you front of mind. People will be interested. You will get slow growth. To get more growth, then you need to be posting 7 to 10 times a week at least. Yeah,
that's a good question.
Brilliant questions.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh my gosh, I feel like we've just been going and going. We have some new guests. Do you guys have any questions about social media, about anything? We've covered a lot.
Yeah, I think we've covered.
What have we missed?
Let's start through LinkedIn.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't see the benefit in LinkedIn. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's all about the text. It's not about photos. It's all about text and connecting with people. So LinkedIn is for business to business connectivity, not to your. It can be to an end user, but through a business to business way of doing it. And the best way to promote yourself through LinkedIn is to make direct contact, send them a message, because people will read that. I'm not a huge LinkedIn fan. I've got a LinkedIn page, but I couldn't tell you the last time I looked at it. Yeah,
I get notifications all the time for LinkedIn, and I
turn them off.
Yeah,
I just turned off the notifications.
I just delete them instantly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you were looking. Potentially, if you were looking to employ someone, it might be it'd be a great place to look, especially professionals, skilled professionals. The only other thing, I mean, as a business owner, you wouldn't be looking to get a job, but if you were wanting to try and find a job as a skilled professional, I think LinkedIn is a really good place to do that.
It's fantastic. I look at LinkedIn as well. It's kind of like Ancestry. You get this big family tree going on, like, hey, I know you, but you know this person. I'm going to go and meet that person.
Yes.
Oh my God, we both know this person together. It's great like that. So there is a way to connect. Twitter, though. Twitter's not big in Australia. And I think I said last time, apart from the agricultural departments, for some reason, farmers and the farming community love Twitter. And I think that's because it's very news orientated. If I'm getting my news, I normally get it from the wife, because she's all over it.
She's on Twitter.
She's phenomenal. No, she's not. She's just all over the news. She's brilliant. And
Is she a social media app as well? Not yet. Not a social media news app yet.
No, not the news app. No. But she just knows so much about news going on. But if I'm getting my news, I get it from Twitter.
So Twitter is mostly politicians, agriculture, and authors, would you say? Book writers?
Yeah, a lot of famous people.
People who like to write.
Yeah, people who like the sound of their own voice.
Easy now.
Right. No, on Twitter. And that seems to be what it is. I think the biggest mistake Twitter ever made was extending the amount of characters that they could use.
Anything useful, you reckon, for small businesses in Denmark in regards to Twitter?
Look, it isn't going to hurt to have a Twitter account. There are people, we get tourists down here all the time, so a lot of Americans use Twitter, and a lot of people from Europe use Twitter as well.
We don't have any of those yet.
No, but when they start coming in, but that relates back to our demographic around the state as well, because there are a lot of Americans and Europeans over here who live here and live in Perth and come down, and they do use Twitter. So it's worth having a Twitter account, and every now and then jump on there and post something, and it's all about the hashtag again. You can probably get away with linking your hashtag onto Twitter. So if somebody's posting, we're going to say the optometry place, for example, they could just be tagging you, hashtag you, and it'll pick up on people's feeds.
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't have an ample amount of time, I would say just focus in on one good, on one good social media platform, and just experiment with it. And if that one's not working, then you move to another one and start to experiment.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be the social media platform which isn't working. I think it's realistically going to be your marketing.
Yeah.
You're kind of broad brushing at people rather than this is the market I'm aiming at, this is what I'm going to do. And that's the most paramount thing about anything.
But if I were a dress shop, I wouldn't be on Twitter or
LinkedIn. No, you'd be on, obviously,
Instagram.
you'd be on Instagram and on Pinterest.
Yeah, yeah. Jenny, so is it okay? Okay with social media, is a website even necessary?
You know what?
I think it depends.
Yeah, it really does depend on your product.
Yes.
I would say that for anybody who is trying to sell a physical product and they're going to sell that online, yes, you've got to have a website.
Are you sure?
Yeah, definitely. Because there's so many people out there who just start Instagram shops and Facebook shops and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
There becomes the need for people to want to trust you. And if you've got a website on top of that, you build trust.
Yeah.
I personally, if I'm looking for something to shop on Instagram, I'll hit it, I'll go to the link, and then I'll remember that business, and then I'll go and look on their website.
Okay. Just as a reference.
Yeah, as a point of reference, but also it's a trust thing for me. I don't know whether it's an age thing at the same time. I know a lot of people just go click, click, click. So if you're selling a physical item, yes, definitely a website. I would always suggest having a website as well for any business. Doesn't have to be big, even if it's just like a front page. Again, it builds that trust, and it's another way that people can see your products, and also then you get more Google hits.
Yeah.
So, and let's be honest, if people are going to Google, I can't see any more businesses out here now, because I've mentioned enough of them today.
The picture frame.
Yeah, the picture framing place, which is next door here. If people are going to trust it, they're going to want to see what's there, and they're going to Google picture framing in Denmark. They're not going to go onto Instagram and go picture framing in Denmark, or they're not going to go on Facebook and do the same thing. So a website is really important for that Google.
Yeah, but I've seen also businesses.
Yeah, like a legitimacy thing. Yeah. Absolutely,
But I've Googled and then just had Facebook pages come up to the top, and then just clicked on them, and that was mostly to find location as well.
Yeah, but again, you're just going to be relying on Facebook. Do you trust Facebook, and how much is it going to change? Because I mean, if you look back in MySpace, does anybody remember MySpace?
Yeah. Well, not only that is like, I think this latest example of the fact that Facebook has ultimate control over their product, and to rely for your business to rely on Facebook, and then just for one day have it shut down. Or, I mean, the DCC's Facebook was shut down for 2 weeks during that whole, or a week. And, you know, if we're running events or, you know, gaining, you know, that if it was the only way for us to get information to our membership or to our, you know, potential members, then we were out of it, you know.
We were screwed.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it was.
Yeah.
For that week.
And it sucked. It sucked. It was really hard. So I think to rely on, you know, just one way of social media is really tricky.
Website is very important for that.
Yeah.
As Jen said, there's a legitimacy thing. It absolutely is. It validates who you are within the business community. You don't take that, you don't take likes as a validation of yourself, but it does validify your business, what you're trying to portray out there, and then people can just go on there and browse and find your contact history and all that sort of stuff without having to Google it.
Yeah, and I find, you know, what's really good for a startup business or a small business, when they produce their website, they really get a clear idea of what their philosophy is, what sort of product they're offering, and those sorts of things as well. So, you know, even going through the process of setting up a website, it actually brings quite a bit of clarity to your business model, and the things that the products that you're offering.
And if you don't know what to do with your website, again, refer back to your brand kit. We were talking about brand kits before, on your brand and your strategy. So refer back to your brand kit. Yes, you can do some stuff on your own, but there's people in Denmark who do that for a living.
Yeah.
Like, you've got people who build websites, you've got people who write copy, It just use those people. You contact someone, she'll be able to say, I mean, Conrad's brilliant in IT.
Yeah,
all
Word
that sort of
Candy.
stuff. Word
And,
Candy's there. And,
Down to Earth, or, yeah.
And so
there's
we've got
quite a
people
few.
there. And yes, you might get hold of them and go, well, I'm just a small business starting up. I can't really afford to do that. Think about, if you were building a house, oh, well, I don't need a plumber because I reckon I could just run some piping. You can't do it, or you could do it, but it'll take you 50 times longer than the professional to do it. Get the professional to do it. Spend that little bit of money to get somebody else to do it. In the same way as you would expect people to come to your business to buy your product or your experience, do the same thing.
But if you are on a slim budget, there's some really great, like Wix and Squarespace, and there's some really great platforms that you can have a website up and running for under $200 for the year. So,
and then you can just tweak it later when.
And you have, you have the ultimate control over it, and you don't have to pay somebody to shift and change it. And that's if you're offering something simple. If you just need that landing page. If you just need a landing page as well to, gather emails, that sort of thing, MailChimp has landing pages that you can produce as well. So
Vista, like Vistaprint.
Yeah.
It's just, you can do a website with Vistaprint and then do all your printing all in one spot. Same as with Canva, you can do all your printing off of that.
Yeah.
Of which I was very impressed the other day. That I know somebody who got some business cards printed from Canva, and I've never seen this before. I've never seen how good Canva is for that.
Yeah, okay.
But oh my god, they were so efficient. Yeah. So the delivery was so quick, and that was down here. So I'd recommend.
Wasn't Canva a Perth company?
Yeah.
Originally was built in Perth, and now they're worldwide.
Yeah, and you're right, Jenny. The Canva does have a website creation tool. Yeah. So you can actually just take your own brand and your kits from that and just put it straight into a page.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, and a lot of that stuff is just a drop and drag. And if you could read and have a little bit of confidence behind technology, you can create your own stuff.
The key is though that you might not know what you're doing, and a lot of people don't know what they're doing with social media and how do I do this, and I see all this stuff on Instagram, and I'm going to use Instagram as the prime example. Like, people have got photos which are flying in and text, and you try doing it and you go, what am I doing? You just look at the reels. So the reels are extended stories which hang around for a lot longer. You can just search bar those of how to do whatever, or a template of something, and just watch them. Just keep watching them and go, oh, okay, well, I need to do that. And then you start to do it and you go, oh, damn, I forgot it. So you go back to that, and especially if you're doing it on one phone. Yeah. So I would suggest looking at Instagram at the reels on a desktop, and then do everything on your phone while you're watching it. Yeah. But just have a go. What's the worst possible thing that can happen? Yeah. You post something and then go, oh dear, I wasn't meant to post that. Just delete the post. Yeah.
That was one of the tricky things that I found with Instagram as well, just trying to post, especially if I wasn't taking the picture then. Mm-hmm. Like if I have, for my business, if I have like a bank of photos that I want to just set out, I always found that to be really tricky because you can't really do Instagram on the desktop. So it's more on the phone. And so I don't know if you have a tip for getting around that, but what I found was I have G Drive, so Google Drive, as a way to store a lot of my photos. And then what I do then is, especially if I've made copy or Instagram posts off of Canva, then I share them, I dump them into the G Drive, into my photos, and then from there, then I can just drop and drag out of my phone into that.
And so I do the exact same thing. I put it into into the OneDrive, so cloud storage again, and then I download it to the phone, so it saves as a picture. Yeah. And then I can just use that picture straight away and just either upload it, and there it all is. I built this on Canva, look how wonderful I am, and it looks amazing, but I'm out somewhere else. Exactly. Or I can do that picture and then do some text and some flashy little things which skin and all that sort of stuff on the phone at the same time. Yeah, cool. Definitely. Cool. Ooh. Ryan, so how many should I post on the community Facebook pages? I post on my community pages that I run.
Oh gosh, this is
how many what should you post? Just how many posts in general? Okay, so if you're running a community page, you shouldn't really have to post too much on there because the community should be doing that for you. The biggest way to build a community page is you'll have friends in the community, get them to like the page and get on and get them to share it. And then it will start to snowball itself. And how can you create more people to follow you, communicate? Yeah, that's the only way with a community page is to make sure it's named after the community. It's a prime example. Like if you're living in Denmark, don't call it Walpole News. Don't call it that, because if you're wanting it just to be about Denmark, or if you want it to be about the whole Great Southern, you wouldn't call it West Australian Business. It's got to be very tailored for that. So if people are searching on Facebook, on Instagram, or any social media, they're looking for that town, and you'll pop up then. Post, yes. Normally it's ideas that you post, or hey guys, this is fantastic, which is happening in the town. Treat yourself like the local newspaper. Just even if you have the local newspaper in front of you, and you take a photo of the page and go, hey, did anybody see this? That's the way to build the community one. Which leads me very quickly before we finish, because we've been going for nearly an hour now. Social media, websites, all fantastic things and great to be in people's hands and cost very little to do. Don't forget, most people are driving around the region, so radio advertising is always good, but make sure that you negotiate with the radio station and pick the right radio station for your area. So that's a bit of a marketing tip there. Newspaper, so depending on your service. So if you're a lawn mowing man, local paper is brilliant. It's still brilliant to do, because people have that in their hands.
We've got our directory as well. It's a great.
The Chamber's directory is fantastic, because people can just go straight or come straight here and pick up the directory, have a look for a whole.
It's delivered to everybody's house.
Yeah, but if people haven't got it,
exactly.
They can just come here.
And posters work in Denmark.
Yeah, in Denmark they really work.
And so that might be another way, Brian, to get some more people aware of your community groups as well. So in the community, just print up, did you know, or like a poster that's just like, your community, and then put the community on like a big Facebook sign, and then
but don't put too much. Again, don't put too much on a poster, because people won't read it. They'll just go, it's just too confusing.
You want your poster to stand out when you walk up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're going to post something in Denmark or in a poster, well, I'm going to guess that somebody could put something here depending on the business.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a community window.
As well.
Oh, there's heaps of places around town and around Denmark.
You can always
out by the bakery, Green Pantry, Ravens. There's one by Morrison's. There's heaps of places, and people still look. At.
It's the old one of, hey, I'm doing guitar lessons, and the phone number's down, and the pull-off tag. They still work so well.
Yes, especially here.
Well, yeah, it's throughout the whole Great Southern they work. In Perth, no, not so much, but
you can do postcards up there.
Yeah, you can do postcards up there. But down here, the pull the number off is just a brilliant thing. If you're going to do one of those, just remember to write the phone number on the main bit of the poster as well, because I saw one the other day in Albany, and so all the things are gone, and I'm like, well, that person's stuff, because there's no other phone number.
There's no phone number.
There's no phone number because they were all on the little tag. So.
Those little things that we live in, that we learn as we start to experiment and stuff with marketing, and it's just like, I totally forgot to put the address on there.
Oh my god, I've done that before.
Hey, I think I'm going to wrap it up, everybody, and thanks Jenny and Brian for being here for like the entire time. You guys are rock stars. And for everybody that joined us during, thanks, and feel free to keep sending stuff our way. I reckon we might, Mark and I might continue to do this, but we'll talk about it. And
if people want more social media stuff and just want to know things, and we can do more of these. If not, we can change it up and do something else.
Well, we can also do we could do anything, but we could do specialized workshops as well. So in person, if you wanted to do a one-on-one or a little bit more time in a group workshop, just let us know and we'll set something up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We could do a workshop.
Yeah, we could do it.
It's just an excuse for wine and cheese.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Till next time. Thanks for joining.